Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foul Ball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you're doing well. I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you so much. This is my ongoing coverage of every single episode of The Expanse in order, in completion, all of them, which is quite a lot. And I actually, I took a kind of a big chunk of time off, and the new season's coming up on the 16th. And I realized that I'm way behind if I want to get every single episode done and out by the 16th. I have to do about 2 a day, I figured, because there's a big gap of time where I'm going to be away and I won't even be at my studio, as it were. So I hope you guys really like these videos, because you're going to get a lot of them over the next few weeks, because I'm still kind of determined to accomplish that goal, to get it all out there and to watch every single episode before the new season comes out, so that when the new season comes out, that I can, be there live, quick, day of or close to it, talking about the new season of The Expanse. So that's what's up with me right now. I released a video that was my most successful video the other day. Little bittersweet, because it was the ending of The Expanse. However you want to put that. I don't know. Some people in the comments got annoyed that I was saying it was canceled. If it's a 9-part story and they're only doing 6 of the 9 parts, I don't know how to look at that as not being canceled, but whatever. Semantics aside, the show is done after next season. And, bummer, man. I was disappointed. And anyways, I put out that video, and it's almost like 2,000 views right now, which for my channel is like far and above anything I do. Everything's like, 10 to 50 views. If I get 100 views, I'm like, wow, that's a big day. So thank you so much for watching. And my subscriber count went up 20. So that's incredible. Thank you so much for watching, checking it out. And thanks. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the Foul Ball Productions train. We are hauling ass down the tracks towards entertainment. I don't know. That metaphor didn't make any sense. But I'm glad you guys are here. Glad for my people who've been here, new people, everybody. Thank you. Yeah. So I guess before I get into it, just real quick, press like on the video. Means a lot. Helps the channel. Helps people get recommended this content. More people will see it. More exposure for me. Better content, hopefully. I don't know. It's just good. Please do it so I can grow. It's really it. It's just so the YouTube algorithm you can feed the demon, feed the beast. You have to. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Lots of cool stuff coming down the pike. I don't mean you have to press like. I mean, I have to feed the beast. So I'd appreciate your help in that. Yeah. So begging over, I say we get started. We get started. Oh yeah. I implemented a new thing where it's in the description, but I do a watch along now instead of, I used to do it where I would just talk about the episode, and now I have a watch along link from an Amazon Watch Party, so you can watch along and see exactly where I'm at on the episode, so that you don't have to imagine it. We can watch it together. I mean, I don't even know if anyone's jumped in on that, to be completely honest, but it just seemed like a nice thing to do. If you're interested, check it out. If not, whatever. I'm just glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys love The Expanse as much as I do. I started doing these videos like literally on a lark. I had just finished the Umbrella Academy season 2, and I was like so bored with it. And I was like, I just want to do a show that I love, and that was The Expanse. And it's been the thing that's attracted more people to my channel than anything else, and I'm blown away and thrilled to do it because it's my favorite show. So perfect, win-win, winsies. And I'm here at the end of season 2. I think this is when the proto-molecule really starts to like blossom on Venus, like when it really becomes a new thing, like a new entity, when it does that big cool squid thing. Oh God, I love this show. I love it so very, very much. We are Jupiter. I got it right this time. Didn't confuse it with Saturn. I did have to go. Which one has rings? Saturn's rings. Got it. Okay, Jupiter. But we're on Ganymede. We're on Ganymede, and outside the moon, on the moon, which is, I'd still just love that idea. I mean, just what a view that would be if you just had like a farmstead on Ganymede, and you just go out your door and just like, The Eye of Jupiter looks pretty good today. It'd be a nice view. It's a fun future. So here we get the reveal that May. We kind of knew that May was alive, but now we get official confirmation that Prax's daughter May is alive. Oh wait, or is this a flashback? Well, anyway, I mean, this is the first time we saw May like having a scene and interacting. And this is where you get to see all the backstory with the proto-molecule soldier. And I like that. I thought it was a pretty good story with Prax and his missing daughter. The way, like, you're like, this poor guy, his daughter's dead. And he woke up like with an injury and like, oh, and then like slowly finds out that his daughter might not be dead. She might be alive. And you get to like track her down and save her and rescue her. Just like, that was really a cool development. It's a great story. So yeah, I think that this is still, that was a flashback. So because they're on Ganymede now in the present day, and it's all destroyed and broken up. And Prax and the crew of the Rossi are following the scent, as it were. And they're armed to the teeth, as always. Amos has the weapon that Amos is equipped with is an auto shotgun, like a semi-automatic shotgun. And it's described as much in the books. And I didn't really notice it until I read the books to pick that up. But like, it's thorough. And boy, is that a cool weapon. I mean, I guess if you looked closely, you could see it. It kind of looks like that semi-automatic shotgun that exists now. I don't know the name of it, but I saw a video by that guy, FPS Russia, who does all those like crazy gun shooting videos. And it looks a lot like that. At least like the stock does. But you can see there's like shotgun rounds on the stock. I like weapons. And I love the weapons in this show. The armor is a genius. It's just so beautiful and sleek and cool looking. I love when I'm watching something and I just get the impression that the people involved are like doing like what they always wanted to do. Like they always thought that would be cool and then they went and made it. Like that's so cool. Like, you know, when you're watching like a certain sequence and you're just like, you know that the guys who made that just thought that would be awesome if we did that and let's do it. And like, yeah, let's do that a lot. Like I want that in all my content. It's way more interesting. Like there's that scene in Dread. I was talking about this with Jared on one of our streams, but there's that scene in Dread where he's got where like Mama sets like the two miniguns across the platform and just lets them go. These like huge caliber miniguns just rip the shit out of the floor. There's a it was so badass. It was so badass. I love when I see stuff like that. Because that's what's interesting, right? I mean, that's what you talk to your buddies about. Dude, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a cruiser and had like tactical nukes and like a bunch of miniguns? And you're like, yeah, that would be cool. And then they're like, yeah, how about we have these point defense cannons or these little miniguns that take out the torpedoes when they get close? I'm like, that's a great idea. Do that, please. So we're back on the Martian embassy on Earth. And Bobbie's really starting to get defiant with this guy. And I really like her character arc. Because she's such a soldier. She's such a Marine. Like true blue, true red, right? Because Mars. And she's like the real deal. Gunnery sergeant, the whole thing, ready to stomp on Earth. And then that thing happens to her on Ganymede. And she doesn't like lose like her conviction. She's just thrown off. But then she definitely knows she's being lied to. Like she's sure of it. Like she knows what she saw. She knows what happened. And so her Martian like pride and loyalty is being tested. And then she's going to like give that up for Earth? Like the Earthers, the people that she's sworn to kill her whole life. She's just going to believe them. And then Avasarala kind of comes in and starts putting little bugaboos in her ear. Like maybe you should. And it's this really interesting transformation of a character. And it goes, and I really liked it. It's probably my favorite part of season 4 was her like complete degradation, like complete loss of being on board with the Martian vision, basically just becoming like an organized crime, like heavy, like a soul. That was dope. That was really cool. Just abandoning the Martian thing almost completely. And that was really smart plot development by them too, to like, if you don't need to terraform Mars, then fuck it. What are we doing? We're wasting all this time and money. Let's get off this rock and go somewhere where there's like a sun and it would be warm. We could stand in oxygen. And that is a really smart development by the writers. They've developed this world. It's so thorough. They are so in touch with it. I've said that I've read that they started this whole story like from tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons style games, you know? And I bet they could run a mission like that today. Like you could sit down and do a campaign with them and they'd know all the details in the world and they could go here and go there. KD asked if I have read all 8 books. KD, no, I haven't. The first three. I decided that I came across this show visually. Visual entertainment is my number one. That's the one that I love. And I decided I'm going to experience this show as much as possible through the visual medium. I try to avoid spoilers online for the books, even though it all ended in tears. I stepped on my dick a few times watching Game of Thrones, where I would just get a little too into it and then find spoilers online about things that hadn't been on the show yet. And I was like, no, wait, no, I didn't want that. So I'm trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible. I mean, it happens. I'm an adult. I understand. But yeah, no, I have not read all the books. I probably will at some point because they're great books. But they're so well adapted that I'm not saying like I don't need to. It's just you really do get a very authentic experience watching this show because the writers being in the writer's room, like the novelists being in the writer's room, you get like exactly what they would have wanted. Like their vision, it is their vision. It's not even an adaptation of it. It's like it's still theirs. It's just a new form of it, which I think is probably the best way it could have been done. Pretty lucky. We just got the episode's namesake. This is a really cool developing arc too. I really love this. Between Avasarala scientist, like that kind of slick, cool guy, the cool scientist, and the like uptight kind of military scientist who's got no time for guff. They're like completely at odds with each other. But as they get a little closer to scientific discovery, they kind of like, this is cool. We do kind of have this in common. And he just said that he used the analogy or the parable about the map and how it was saying that like on the edges of the map, what does it say when there's nothing left? It just says here there be dragons. I was like, oh, and then they were kind of like, yeah, let's go slay some dragons. It was really cool, and that's the name of the episode too, which I was like, I like that. They title their episodes really well, and it's goddamn unfortunate what happens to those two guys too, man. I swear to God that I was sure that the guy that Avasarala scientist, I thought he was going to be like a big part of the show. Like I thought he was going to be like one of the bigger characters. Nope. He gets liquefied in the atmosphere of Venus in like seconds, which is too bad. But that was a really cool sequence. That's something I love about this show too, is when they introduce characters, you really are never sure how impactful a character is going to be. I mean, unless, of course, if you read all the books. If you read all the books, then you already know. Well, Drummer's like an amalgam of characters. I don't really think she's in the book the way she's on the show. If I'm mistaken, please correct me, but I think that's correct. But like the way they introduce characters, you don't really know. I mean, it could just be someone that's there for a second. Like when we first met Bobbie, like I didn't know who this Marine was, and I don't know if I cared. And obviously, she's one of the most fundamental characters on this whole journey. Same thing with Prax. When you met Prax, it was, I didn't, like, who's this guy with a cut on his head, a dead daughter? I mean, I feel bad, but I don't know if I care. And then you learn to care and you get into it. And this show never shows its hand. They never are like, hey, here's what you should care about. This is important. They just like let it all happen. And you either catch it or you don't, which I'm starting to put together that I think that's the reason this show is not a phenomenon. Because it is to me, it's the best written show that I've come across in a really long time. It's in a genre that I personally love, but usually these types of genres are huge hits. And this one, not really. I mean, it had to be rescued by Amazon, and it's probably the next 2 seasons are going to be really popular. But I don't know. We'll see. But I can't. It's not. It's definitely not a giant show. It's not a phenomenon, as I said. And I think it's because it's a tough watch. Not tough, challenging. You have to pay attention. You really need to watch and focus and listen to the subtext and the nuance and like piece together the story. And they don't just spoon feed you the answers. You need to come to your own conclusions sometimes. And I guess some audiences don't really like that. I thought that, I mean, it's also the exposure thing too. I think I might be overstating it a little bit, because I mean, I didn't even hear about this show until last year, and I'm a huge sci-fi fan. So, KD, that scene was so well adapted, dude. That's the benefit of having the novelists in the writers' room, man. I think that's even given them a chance to improve on certain things. Like, for instance, Bobbie's defection, the way she defects to Earth, is a much more tense and dangerous option from her. Whereas in the book, she just does it. She's just like, yeah, no, I work for Earth now. Avasarala is like, yeah, you work for me. This is like, boom, 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 drama. Like, maybe she's going to get shot by Mars. Who knows? This is like an act of rebellion. That's cool, like, I mean, it's not to say it didn't work in the book. It's just that ratcheting it up like that, I think, was a good opportunity for, the writers to refine what they put out there. And that, it's like, I don't know. That's one of the biggest strengths, I think. That's why, like, I don't feel like most of the fans of the books, I haven't heard anyone really express any feeling of betrayal or frustration with things that they've changed. Because they have changed some things, but as far as I can tell, nothing that's really important. But I will ask, guys, as much as possible, if we can just avoid spoilers, like for my own enjoyment, but also for other people like may come to this channel and check it out. Because I don't, like I said, I don't talk about the books because I just haven't read them. Not that I'm not interested. So, but I'd like to, as benevolently as we can. I mean, it's just like, I don't like when things are spoiled for me. I imagine you don't either. So we just, if I could kindly request that of you, but just a request. This is the internet. You can do whatever you want. They're on the Rossi. I think, this is when, yes, this is actually a really cool sequence. I like this a lot. So this is Alex Kamal, the pilot. He can't light up the engine now because Mars is like, I don't know, for some reason they're on the system. They lock the system down. And if they light up the drive, they'll know they're there immediately and board them. So what he's going to do is he's going to tea kettle it, which means he's going to use the steam thrusters and no ion, whatever drive that is, whatever not Hawking's, Epstein drive. He's going to use like gravity of like the planet and the moons and slingshot himself around, and him like planning it and getting all like pumped and excited and confident, like watching him do it is really cool. It's a really cool, fun sequence. And I like, you don't really have much interaction with the computer on this show. It's not like the computer's a character like in so many other science fiction shows. But I like this sequence where the computer kind of is. And he's like planning it out and coming up with different ideas. It's pretty cool. Something that this show does so well is it adheres to its own mechanics. Like, it introduces, like, it's like the laws of physics. I imagine that the writer's room must have like a laws of physics for the Expanse, because I never see them take like a cheap way out or invent something new for their characters to, it turns out if you do this with the drive, it can go under the radar. Like, it's nothing like stupid like that. It's always like, no, how would he get out of, how can he get out of this with the rules we've set up? And I've never, to my knowledge, I've never seen them just invent some new ability that they never use again just to get out of this particular scenario. And I really admire that about this show. And I think it's like, it's kind of surprising how rarely that's the standard. How much TV and movies too, they just write their way out of jams by inventing things that weren't established earlier. And it's like, dude, I'll accept that there's a man from the planet Krypton who's got laser vision and can fly, but like, don't like then add something that you didn't establish earlier just out of convenience now. Like, you're going to break my immersion. That always bothers me too. People are like, "Oh, what, you got like it's a show about alien? You got now you got a problem with that?" It's like, no. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I respected your framing. I apologize for doing that. I guess I'll never make that mistake again by giving you enough credit and respect that you were going to adhere to your own rules. My bad. Sorry. This guy is a creep. So it's a guy who is like May's caretaker on Ganymede while they're giving them like proto-molecule injections and turning children into super soldiers. Dude, Protogen is evil. He is way too comforting. And he's like soulless, man. He's like all those dudes that they found on that station that had their empathy erased, except I don't think he had his empathy erased. He just like doesn't have it. He just like doesn't care. He's like, nah, I mean, they're kids or whatever, but I'll keep them safe and happy. But we're definitely going to turn them into blue nuclear soldiers. I don't want to ask because I don't want an answer that like will spoil something, but I am very curious to see in the book like how far they go with that proto-molecules like a soldier aspect, like how conscious proto-molecule soldiers are. Like, are they thinking? Could they take orders? Could they ever get like organized? Could that proto-molecule soldier thing ever work? Or was that just like misguided misunderstanding of a really powerful like world-bending thing? I have a lot of questions about the proto-molecule, and I noticed in the comments of my last video there were some things that were like addressing stuff that was definitely not in the show, and I was like, oh, I don't want to look, but I want to look, but I don't want to look. Yeah, like I've thought about reading all the books just to get caught up, but I love experiencing the show like so much. It's my favorite thing I've like maybe ever come across, so I don't want to spoil that at all as much as possible. So I'm gonna, I don't know, just like peer, be really cautious looking at things online. I don't want to get caught up. I really like the crew of the Rossi going through the guts of Ganymede as the station's just falling apart. And it's like this kind of, they flash forward and flash back. Like it's like what it used to look like, what it looks like now. And I'll tell you, this show never really jerks you around. They don't really drag things out unnecessarily. Like there's a respect for plot progression, which meaning like they set up things and it takes time to pay them off. It's not like bing, bang, boom. But there's no elongating it for elongating its sake. Like the things get there in a relatively like a satisfying time, a satisfying speed. Like we met Prax, I think, 2 episodes ago, and now we're on Ganymede looking for his kid. Like that. Like that's a cool progression. And the last episode, which I think was the Weeping Somnambulist, I think. No, is that? So many details. Anyway, the last one, like where you kind of like they had to try to like sneak on to Ganymede. And it was like this whole big thing. Like they had this big hurdle. That's still very compelling. Like it's not paying off the Prax thing right away, but it is moving the story with interesting obstacles. And I don't know. I mean, this seems to me to be on principle, like the way you write a show. Like you set up your rules, you adhere to your principles, you respect your characters, you respect the people. But this seems like it's like the only thing in like a genre, like not a hard drama about, like The Wire or something that has this much like this much consideration for the world and respect for writing structure. There's not many things I can really think of. Like I would include like fantasy in that, like horror, anything. What's it? Mahler and Rags. They love the new Haunting of Hill House season or whatever. Boy, they talk about that shit like it's the second coming. I don't know. Watch Critical Drinker's video on it. Sound fucking stupid. I don't know. I have no idea. Haven't gone down there. Don't really do horror. Oh yeah, this is Bobbie's like straight up rebellion. Oh dude, she's badass, bro. She is gangster. She like wipes this guy out. That like chaplain dude who pretended to be your friend. after like I think he exposed the truth, and she just kicks the ever-loving shit out of him. Like it's pretty gangster. It's pretty badass. She just crushes it. You know what I really like about this character, like the actress's portrayal? She never sneers when she's being badass. She's never like, yeah, and I'll get you. She's always like in the moment, like a cat, you know, just like looking at, she's always like ready to go, but it's never just like, and I'm awesome, like ever. Like she will use that confidence when it's strategic, but she doesn't like, she doesn't lean into being a badass, you know, which I think a lot of like badass characters just like smoking a cigar. I'm the tough guy. Like we get it. We got it. Yeah, cool. She is a badass by doing badass things. And yeah, it's just elegant. It's nimble. It's well executed. And she is not too hard on the eyes, is she, fellas? No, she's not. No, she's not. So this is like her big breakout sequence. That, I don't know about the physics of that moment. That didn't quite look like it would have worked. She, the guard comes in and she, from about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, knocks his head so hard it splatters blood and knocked him out. I think Mike Tyson would have had trouble with that blow. But regardless, speaking of which, I wonder how that fight went tonight. Not Expanse related, Matt. Look into your hobbies. Other times you have a responsibility to your fans. Yeah, I like this whole sequence of her breakout. Man, they make the Martian embassy is hideous. It's ugly. It looks like a parking garage. It's just big concrete buildings. As I recall, that's how a lot of it was described in the book, as just having like no character. Like everything Martian was just like industrial and, you know, purpose only. No flair, nothing pretty whatsoever. Yeah. So she sneaks out of that Martian embassy and then books it to the Earth embassy, like, you know, the Earth side, the UN side, which I loved. It's so interesting. And then she surrenders. She wants political asylum. It really does make it more exciting. Man, that was like bold. That's crazy character development. She just like defected from like something that she truly believes in her soul. But because of her character, because of the people, they were fucked over by the powers that be. I like this. This is Alex is doing his slingshot maneuver where he's going around the different moons of Jupiter and using the tea kettle thrusters to take the moons look really close in this depiction. I don't know if they're quite that close, but it's really cool. I love the physics of it because I think what's the guy, Naran Shankar? Is that his name? The showrunner? I think he's got like a PhD in mathematics, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up because that's sort of a big statement to make. But I believe he does. A BS, Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, and a PhD, Applied Physics and Electrical Engineering. So generally, when you see anything involving like hard physics, he knows what he's talking about, and I think they tend to adhere to it. They tend to do their best to make it as authentic as possible. And the brilliance of that is it adds to the tension. It adds to the excitement. It makes it ratchets up the stakes. It makes the challenges harder to overcome. There's no easy way out of it. There's no warp speed. You know, you have to adhere to these rules, and I find it to be fascinating. And he knows, because he's a writer, he knows how to walk the line between like dry and accurate and like, you know, overly like just completely fantasy crazy but interesting. Like he knows how to walk that line perfectly. It's a phenomenal skill. It's all about touch. That's like artistic touch. Can't teach that. Gotta learn it. Gotta learn it or be born with it. This is we're back where Bobbie's like official defection. And the spy with Avasarala I always forget his name. He doesn't trust her. And he's giving her this look, and Bobbie's just like uncomfortable, and then looks back at her. What the fuck are you looking at? I love when the two tough characters have like kind of a dick measuring contest, like Amos, or like they kind of like stare each other down. It's pretty cool. Katie, they did take some liberty with the slingshot physics, but who cares? It was beautiful. Yeah, I thought so too as I was watching it. It was like I don't know. I'm not a physicist, but it did seem like, that's pretty convenient. But like you said, it's beautiful. It's fun. Like that's him walking the line. You found a reasonable way out. It's okay. It's plausible. I buy it. Like, is it all possible? Like you'd have to ask like a real astrophysicist. Well, it would depend on the time of year. Where would the moons be? And da da da. Right. All right. Never mind. Is it kind of possible? Good enough for me. Good enough for me. And it works. And it was fun to see Alex do that. Like he's just in the Rossi by himself, talking to the computer, having a moment. And then he's like riding the gravity wells. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I think also Bobbie's defection and eventual service to Avasarala did need to be sped up a little bit and kind of tight, like ratcheted up like this. Because I think in the book, as I recall, there's kind of like a long, like office politics part of the story that she like, and it's not going to play in a show like this. We already knew like Aaron Wright was shitty by this point in the show. So you just got to get to it. And I think ratcheting up the tension and making it this big rebellion automatically makes Avasarala more interested and keeps her, makes their like partnership more plausible at this quick speed, which is cool. This is dope. This was really great. I love the way that this was described. So this was something that like was impossible to convey the way the book conveyed it. So the crew of the Rossi right now, they found basically the remainder of protogen in this in like these like deep corridors of Ganymede. Found them, and they got them all dead to rights with guns. And Prax, not being a soldier, had just been given a gun by Amos. And in the book, it's brilliantly described because Prax, not being a soldier, pointed his gun at everybody, and then he started making demands. And what he did was he like cocked it, thinking like that's what you do. But that alerted all the soldiers in the room to like, now it's on. This isn't just an idle threat. So that was his like complete like ignorance of how these situations actually go. And that started the firefight. And that was the last time Prax held a gun. And they do it in the show well, but I didn't get that until I read the book. Because yeah, they do that because he like raises the gun. He's here. So I didn't understand that was like Prax's fault quite as much. Yeah, and Amos got shot. And is this where he goes, why is it always I get shot? Yeah. And Prax is Prax is just not a killer, just not a soldier. Not everybody is. I love that. What is that sequence where he's not that guy, but I'm that guy? And Amos just coldly executes a man. Amos is such a great character. Oh my God, dude. I love him. I felt he got. I didn't like what happened to him in season 4 with that girl. I knew it had to happen. I knew it was gonna happen, but I just didn't want it to happen. I felt bad that he had to do that. And it shows his loyalty, shows who he is as a character. He's a good guy, but still it sucked. It was like the first time we saw any like tenderness out of the guy. And you had to just steal it from him right away. And I'm sure that I imagine that was in the book. I don't know. And don't please. Well, I guess you can tell me if it happened in season 4. That's okay. I just, how I feel.
I don't want any spoilers for things I haven't seen yet. That's the entertaining part.
Oh, this is what's his name? I always forget his name. Aaron Wright. Aaron Wright is Mao is now reaching out to Avasarala saying, hey, you've backed me into a corner here, okay, I'll come in and talk to you. And then like they're gonna go on his yacht, which was beautiful. And then that's when Aaron Wright like sets her up. It's like, I think I'd rather if you were just dead and then I would never have to go to jail. That sounds way better. So just kill her. I love it. Then it makes sense too, the way it moves. Avasarala, the spy, and Bobbie all go, and like having Bobbie there, having like this gunnery sergeant, badass Martian Marine there is like her personal bodyguard, makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. And her spy's trying to talk her out of it. And I love it. I love how she asks him and he tries to talk her out of it. And he goes, "Oh, you're going to accept it." She's like, "I already did an hour ago." She's just like, well, I don't know, what, to pretend to consult him or something, or maybe he made a compelling argument, but she already knew what she was going to do. Avasarala rules. There's so many good characters on this show. So many good characters. And for all their crowing about diversity in Hollywood, I don't hear anyone like making this show the example. But she's Iranian. Prax is, I don't know, Asian. I mean, you have as much representation on this show as you could possibly have. Never heard a word about it. Just from the fans. Oh, this is when you think May's dead. Yeah, this is when what's his name finds a dead body. Yeah, it's fucked up what they're doing, man. Like, whose plan was this to inject children with the proto-molecule to turn them into super soldiers? Like, who pitched that? What was that board meeting like? I would like to hear like the I don't know, I got some thoughts, or what like, how did that happen? Hey, so we've got a new assignment for you. It's really high priority for the company. It's a little touchy, but I think you're gonna love it. We're gonna exploit children and turn them into super soldiers with this substance that we found. Don't tell anyone, okay? It's gonna go really well for all of us. It's gonna bring us into the next century. Yeah, so then they incinerate the body, which isn't. I think he just said you don't know that this is May. Oh yeah. This is when Holden starts going fucking ape shit about the proto-molecule. He just is obsessed with nothing other than destroying the proto-molecule. Like that, anywhere he can, he's gonna do it. And it kind of consumes him, which is really interesting. You didn't see that happening. Oh shit, grenade. Amos, quick reaction, Amos. Really quick. But you didn't, it was interesting that like his pursuit, I love the way they do that about his idealism. When his idealism gets the better of him, it's a really interesting character choice. But it's like his pursuit of destroying the proto-molecule is like ultimately a flaw. Like it's a bad pursuit. Like it consumes him. Doing good, saving the belt and the world, or the solar system from the proto-molecule, ends up like eating him alive. It's really interesting. Oh no. Okay. I think this is the sequence. Yeah. They're on that. I forgot the name of this science platform, but they're like in Venus's orbit or atmosphere, and they keep dropping down these drones, these probes that just get chewed up by, I think, isn't there like sulfuric acid in Venus's atmosphere or something like that? Like it's pretty hostile environment. Which, side note, made it really interesting that they might have found life on there. And they're like, oh yeah, organic residue of life. Sorry, what was that? What was that last part? So they keep just, oh yeah, here we go. We see the surface of Venus. And oh dude, when you see this for the first time and the proto-molecule is just like, what is that spire? It looks like the final level in a video game. You're like, what the hell is going on there? That hellscape. Just blue giant like spire, everything. The whole planet's infected. Protomolecule ain't going anywhere. Such a good story. So interesting. Got this bioweapon. What the hell is this thing? It turns people into zombies or whatever. Oh no. It's got a whole other purpose. A whole other purpose. It's going to take you to the stars and like terraform planets. I haven't gotten that far. As like I said, season 4, I don't know what happens, but what the hell was with those big earth chewers? I want to know about that. I want to know about the protomolecule people. I am interested. Amos is a true badass. I love that guy. Wes Chatham. He's a pretty good social media follow too, which you cannot say about most actors or people in Hollywood. They're generally either boring or really political, and that's also boring. He's not. He's cool. I like him. And he's like, I think he's a legit jiu-jitsu black belt. Like he has the credentials to be as badass as he comes across. Venus is mostly carbon dioxide. Eric K. Hello, Eric K. Venus is mostly carbon dioxide with sulfuric acid rain. Yeah, that sounds pretty caustic, pretty hostile environment. I wouldn't want to spend much time there myself. And it looks like they couldn't bring their probes, which was the point of that whole thing. Dude, this is so fucked up. So they're looking for Dr. Strickland, and this woman's got like a neck wound, like she's bleeding to death, and she's like, "Help me!" And Holden's like, "I'll help you if you tell me what's going on." Like she's about to die. Like I know she, was gonna kill you guys, but still, like it's really, it's like to see him like going this far, to see him like kind of losing his shit and becoming like a villain almost. Hail to you, just another red shirt. Lovely to see you, sir. Love this community. You guys are the shit. You guys are awesome. Yeah, and then this was, I don't think I definitely didn't see the proto-molecule soldier coming. I think I got a spoiler watching, like looking into it too closely before I had gotten there, where like the proto-molecule soldier gets like torched by the Rocinante's engine. And I read something like that, and I was like, oh fuck. It was before even the proto-molecule soldier even got onto the ship, and I was like, oh well, I know that happens, and I know how it ends. Womp womp womp. That's a great sequence. So Alex just like, they're like pursuing all these like protogen guys, they're ready to blow them all away. They're like, oh, there comes someone, and it's Alex. They're like, what are you doing here? And he was ahead of the whole game. Ahead of the whole game. He listened to the broadcast, did the tea kettle thing, landed on Ganymede. Got you guys. He's like, anyway, I just decided to come to rescue y'all. You gotta love him. Oh, despite the now tinge, the asterisk on him, still love the show. Still love the show, and love the people on it. Oh yeah, this is the departure. This is when Naomi's like, "You're not all that cool anymore." Cause he's obsessed. He's like, just I think it's a singular focus. And Naomi's like, yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I'm not exactly going to be tracking it all over the solar system. Go ahead if you want. There's people out there that need my help, and I'm going to go help them. I love that. It's like this kind of idealism, this sort of like not impossible, but just impractical idealism versus like, I can do good right here. I know what you want to do is save the whole solar system, but like I can do this now, and I'm gonna. And I love that. I love that there isn't one good path. That there's multiple shades of good and what's right and what isn't. It's like real life. So interesting. And then I think she take Amos with you. He can barely walk because of the gunshot. such a savage. Love him. And he sends, and they're divvying up the team. Does Amos go? I forget. He's all wounded. I don't know if he can walk. Doesn't look like it. It was interesting. I didn't see this happening. It is kind of interesting, too, that Naomi's just like, you've lost your way. Oh, by the way, I gave our proto-molecule sample to Fred Johnson. Whoops. I think I betrayed you all and potentially put this shit back in the universe. Oh, there we go. There's a proto-molecule soldier on the surface again. I mean, looking back at them, how scary. Dude, those things are scary, man. Because you just don't know what they are. You don't know if they have a mind or a soul anymore. But they kind of do have, they have needs and stuff. Really interesting. And I love that, the last line of that episode was Holden saying, we're going on a hunt. I love that he's like, I'm doubling down. I'm wiping this out wherever I can find it. It's interesting, man. The characters take journeys. They take little, eddies off their main path, which is cool. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see characters make mistakes, even if they've got noble intentions. No one's perfect. It's a hell of a show. Hell of a show. And thank you guys for joining me on exploring all this show. It's getting a little late, but I might do another one later because I got to bang these out if I'm going to get them all done by December 16th. And I aim to. Because I want to be complete with all my coverage when the new season comes out. Because, baby, I'm going to be all over that. And I can't wait. So thank you guys for joining me. Hail the Phantom Menace, guys. Just another red shirt. Eric K. Lovely to see you guys. And thank you. Welcome to everyone, all the new Foul Ball Productions subscribers. It means a lot. It's awesome to have you guys here. I love the Expanse. I love to share it with you. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great night.